Courage is contagious. That's what we always say. And that is the truth. Over the last 5 years, I have lived the truth and validity of that statement. Courage is absolutely contagious. And right now, there's an abundance of courage. Maybe you can look around and see that there are areas like in Colorado or Illinois where woke activists are openly at war with the Trump administration in regards to education, Title IX, the definition of sex, changing that definition to no longer just be male and female, but to include gender identity and the thousands of other identities that some poor child can be indoctrinated into believing that they may have. So in the midst of all this, I've talked to several Moms for Liberty chapter chairs and members recently, and they can sometimes feel discouraged. And I thought I wanted to play this clip of Samantha Fett, a former Iowa chapter chair, and now a representative in the Iowa State House, elected representative. So yay, someone who was just 5 years ago, a regular mom who, when COVID happened, when that whole COVID tyranny, was thrust upon the world, she was just trying to protect her kids, and she was just trying to bring sanity to the life of her children. And voila, 5 years later, now she is in elected office, and who knows where she'll go. But let's play this clip. I'm hoping that if you're listening, take the time, watch this, listen to this, watch the full thing, and really listen to what she has to say. I'm going to let it just run through. I believe it's about a little over 10 minutes, but it's so good. And what she has to say is just so great that I don't even want to interrupt it. I just want to play this full clip. She's on a show, Steve Deace, and I have been a guest on Steve Deace as well. Steve Deace, I follow him on X. He follows me. Todd Erzin as well, the producer. Amazing. Their show is a go-to show for me. It's one I do not miss. There are a lot of shows that I try to catch up on. Steve Deace, I download it when I'm on an airplane. I'm watching it. I'm listening to it while I'm doing the laundry. I don't miss Steve Deace. I love Todd and Aaron. I think that they have a great outlook, and it's an outlook from the perspective of a Christian. And and he's really smart as far as politics too. So I think real political savvy. But let's listen. Please listen to the whole thing. You will feel inspired. I promise you. So let me share the screen. And here we go.
So our guest is one of our state legislators here in Iowa, Samantha Fett. She ran for office by way of Moms for Liberty, a story that has been heard quite frequently throughout the country in the last couple of years. Good to see you, Sam. How are you?
Thank you for having me.
So you're getting to the end of your first session in the legislature. I thought it might be interesting to kind of just check in, and you're kind of doing the thing that we're encouraging a lot of our audience to try and do, right? You're kind of following or setting that example. And I'm sure now as you approach the end of your first legislative session, you're here with a report to demonstrate again, just how fortunate the forces of color revolution feel now that you have brought to their attention the error of their ways, how unsustainable their way of life ultimately is if we allow it to be implemented. And I mean, there's just regular repentance occurring down there at that legislature. And as you walk the streets of your district, they're just extremely pleased that you have come forth to show them and to cast light into the darkness, right?
Sort of.
Sort of.
Not really.
Not really. Not like that at all? No?
No.
All right. So tell us what it's really like then.
Well, first and foremost, I mean, I put God before me in everything I do. So having the opportunity to even have a seat at the table at the legislature is amazing. But it comes with, like you were saying in your opening, it comes with that tyranny. And we're seeing protesters and people that are not very happy with how I'm representing as a conservative and hunting me down at my church so they could call me out and, threaten the people in the church and all sorts of things that clearly are a spiritual battle on display.
Give us an example of the threats that you guys have heard.
Well, I mean, just specifically at my church, we had a group of protesters come and, lots of signs saying Samantha Fett is stripping the rights of Iowans, right? And send her out so we can have our way with her. Send her out. Does that sound familiar?
I've heard that somewhere before.
Yeah, using
Doesn't ring a bell.
Using a bullhorn, right? But
Yes.
during church service, yes.
Yes, using a blowhorn during church service to try to disrupt what we do every Sunday morning. Now, it's very interesting to see the reaction from the congregation.
That was my next question. What is that then?
Yeah, so I think surprisingly, unity. I think it was a good eye-opener to see what it really takes to be someone of a Christian faith, to walk in that light every single day in every action you take, and what kind of pushback you get. I deal with it on a daily basis. And honestly, my reaction, I didn't feel a lot because I thought, oh gosh, here they go again. What kind of silly signs do they have this time? A stripper on a pole saying I'm stripping rights. Okay, that was clever. That's
actually clever. Sometimes the devil is literal too, right? I mean, it kind of got me on that one. That's pretty good. Anyway, go ahead. Yes.
Yeah. But for others that don't see that on a regular basis, it's a good eye opener to say, what is going on? And then also come back and say, hey, thank you for what you're doing. We didn't realize that was what you had to deal with on a daily basis and your family.
See, I think that's a key point there, because there's going to be somebody in this audience is now listen, man, Steve, you've almost convinced me to get off the couch and get in the fight. But now you're like, then they're going to come to my church with bullhorns. They really aren't interested in what we have to say. We're not going to spark some mass revival, amongst children of Romans 1 level sad darkness. No. But the antidote to that is exactly what you just said. There is another group of people who probably are unaware truly of how depraved what we're up against really is. Because if they were aware of it, they would have confronted it by now. And that is where, if someone steps out to lead, Samantha, it does then bring the rest of the people who do share our worldview, who have been largely sitting on the sidelines or thinking that stuff just kind of happens on autopilot. Can it really be that bad? Can it really be that obnoxious that it's worth all this level of confrontation? I think it is. My experience has shown it has been very valuable for our brethren to see what's truly going on out there, because we are going to make little headway with those who are making it happen out there, but amongst our own people. I think when they see the level of threat level, my experience has been there is opportunity for unity and growth there, and to come up with some more people, because courage can be contagious as well.
Oh, certainly. And I think that just the reputation I came with coming to the legislature as a Moms for Liberty, no nonsense. People don't ask me where I stand on things, because guess what? They already know. And then they say, well, who's going to lead on this sensitive topic or this hard topic that is, I don't know, maybe political suicide? And I'm always the one to raise my hand. I'll do it. Let's do this. Do you need a woman? Do you need a woman to help you with this?
Yep.
We can certainly do that. And in some cases, having a woman in the conversation, like the gender identity bill, to speak from a woman's perspective on that bill was an amazing opportunity to resonate with what the priorities of that bill was. It wasn't discrimination. It was to protect women. So you talk about, you want leaders that have a spirit of conviction, to know why they believe what they believe, but you have to take that even further. You have to be willing to fight for those convictions every single day, which means you wake up every day and say, what fight is going to come my way today? It's a hard day every single day. So many things happen in one day when you're at the State House. But you're always, okay, what am I going to volunteer for today? What kind of people are going to come to me for advice and say, how do I handle this type of subject? You know more about this. What should I say? And my answer is always like, just tell the truth. So for me, it's not difficult. But that's because I have background with a lot of my Moms for Liberty. We worked on this on the ground for the last 4 years, and we were taking heat constantly. And so that set the stage for what I need to do today. So yes, courage is contagious, and it's bringing people along. We have some pretty good conservatives in the State House today. We have, the chair of education is Representative Wheeler. He really wanted me to give a shout out today, and I'm the co-chair. So when you have those two personalities running the education in the House, that really speaks to what kind of conservative agenda we have coming.
I think that what you just said is so key in that you had experience with this level of confrontation. Like, if you have a veteran, even conservative legislator, this is not my first rodeo in the state of Iowa, as you well know. And when I was down there at the event you guys had, I think it was in early February. Okay. I had never seen. I mean, I remember being at the Supreme Court building when the original marriage opinion came from the court and seeing people, wave it around like it was an emancipation proclamation and things. But I'd never seen in Iowa. I've seen it in some other places, but never in Iowa, the kind of almost seething, screaming, yelling that went on. I think everybody that the Des Moines Register polled for their last presidential poll of Iowa before the election that said Kamala Harris was going to win, I think they were all there that day, every single last one of them. Okay. And I think even if you're a veteran conservative legislator, there's Iowa nice, Minnesota nice. That's kind of a Midwestern thing, right? Yeah. And you're not used to seeing this, and I can see why maybe it would be kind of unnerving to just walk in and see this level of acting out and to see an entire fleet of state troopers trying to keep this group at bay, But in your case, you went through that process maybe the first time you stepped out on behalf of Moms for Liberty. This isn't your first rodeo either. It might be your first year in the legislature, but you've seen this level of acting out numerous times everywhere you have gone.
Oh, absolutely. And anywhere we travel across the country for different summits or conferences, yes, we had that level of negativity and yelling that come towards us. We joked at the State House that day. We're like, oh, we didn't really bring the A team today. They could have done better. So yes, we're a little bit more normalized to the kind of scrutiny that we get from the other side on those types of things, but it really just fuels our cause because we know we're on the right track. And so it is unnerving when you first start experiencing that, but you know that you have a good team behind you and you know what you're standing for, you know who you are, you know what you stand for, and you know what you're focused on. Mm-hmm. And as long as you're moving forward in that direction, there's not really a lot that can stop us, which is why it's been so effective and why we've stayed disciplined and getting results. It's really kind of uprooted the whole process of activism at the State House. And you're going to see more and more Moms for Liberty run for office across the country because of this.
How's your family doing? When I came out and did the campaign event for you last year, obviously your husband, kids were very involved in what you're doing and in the mission. And that's really important for me to see too, because nobody wants to go fight the battle all day and then come home and not have a supportive home front in any form of war, right? Okay. Yeah. The home front is vital. So now you're though almost an entire legislative session into this, and the stuff that was maybe theoretically discussed if you won, you've practically lived through, right? So how's your family done with all this?
Well, we made a commitment early on that we were going to take this on as a family, and we did. And I will say that it brought us closer together, brought us closer to God and a faith journey. So those are the positives. And so we said we'd work together on whatever challenges come our way. But as the session's gone on and being part of the gender identity bill, which was a large undertaking at the State House, it brought people from across the country to protest, and getting letters at home that were threatening. Had to have special security with me, was offered a soft armor vest to wear because I was threatened with my life. So when you have that kind of pressure and your family's kind of looking at you like, Mom, what are you doing? Mm-hmm. Oh, well, you can handle it. Let's go. And they've got my back even more. So you know what? It's made us even tighter, and even our extended family. So from my perspective, we did the work up front to make sure we were ready to handle any challenge. And I think that's extremely important for anyone that's going to step into a leadership role like this, to be ready to take on, I don't know what's going to happen. I don't know what I'm going to have to deal with tomorrow, but I know I have them in my back corner. Now, having said that, my husband is not super excited about me being out there and my life threatened and constantly. He wants to be by my side all the time, but we go to the range quite a bit. We know, we understand.
All right, I've got about 90 seconds here. if there's somebody listening, you kind of gave a good practical tip a minute ago with the family situation to lead up front with this stuff. But someone that is, I'm thinking about getting more active or vocal as an activist. I'm thinking about running for office. What are some practical pieces of counsel and wisdom you'd give to them?
I would say do it. Jump in head first. Don't think that you're not smart enough or you can't do it. God will equip you for everything you need. If I look back 5 years ago, politics was not my future. I was just trying to make my public school board better. Okay. We never know what God's path is going to lead us. And so it's our opportunity, it's our duty to follow those paths. So follow that calling and jump in head first. You'll find support. That's my practical advice. It's not very good, right? But
the only way you get good at something is by doing that thing, right?
That's right.
Now, to the family situation, though, let's be honest, if you don't have at least almost unanimous support from your family, this is going to be very hard to do.
Unanimous support is extremely important. And I will say my husband wasn't on board with me being a school board member or running for state house, but we worked through that because we needed to. We understood that this was what was written for our life, and we were willing to take that on together. So certainly that's the main thing that needs to happen. Your spouse needs to be on board.
All right. Good to see you.
It's great to be here.
Hey, Todd, do you guys have any thoughts here in the final minute we have left?
Well, what you heard is real. I know Sam. We go way back. Our families have broken bread together. And yeah, Josh is a guy who doesn't want to see his wife hurt, but he's a really, really good man. And everything about that family, my daughters played soccer with their daughters. They are the future. And our families have raised 4 girls who we know we have to do this because of them. And I know that's what's in Sam's heart.
God bless you, Sam. Thank you for coming here today. And just these threats, these intimidation tactics will continue to go on until there are more and more people like Sam who stand up and say, I'm not afraid of you. The only power, the only leverage that these individuals have over us is that which we decide to give them. And until we come to a time where there's a critical mass of people who just don't care about pissing off all of some of the most piss-offable people, that we're going to continue to get these types of demonstrations and try to get these types of flexes. We just need more people who just do not care, just don't care about making all the right enemies. And I think Sam is one of those.
And the level of seething that Samantha has faced is demonstrative of the fact and confirms this is not about a political ideologies. This is a spiritual war.
Yep.
Mere political policy differences don't engender that level of hostility on their own. Good to see you, Sam. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hour 2 is next.
So, wow. Amazing. Samantha, you did such a great job. And you can see that she had a YouTube page where she posted her entire interview on the Steve Days show. And please subscribe, follow her. She is great. And I will put all those links on as I post this to social media. But Moms for Liberty could not be more proud of Samantha. And look at what she said, that the years that she had spent working with Moms for Liberty had prepared her for such a time as this. She was ready to face all these activists, all these radicals, all these trans activists, paid activists bust in because, like I was not exactly like a hub of for the human rights campaign. So because it was a big deal what she was doing, I was removing gender identity so that the definition of sex would be male, female, that's it. And she gave courage. Courage was contagious. She gave courage to people who, to elected representatives in the House and in the Senate who agreed with her, but maybe they just didn't have the stomach for the onslaught that was coming their way. But she did because she had survived it. And I wanted to play some clips just to get an idea of what she was talking about, the things that she has survived. This is something that and I'm going to share the screen. So, and just to give you an example of what Samantha was talking about, I wanted to share video that I took personally when Moms for Liberty had its annual summit in Philadelphia. What you're gonna see, I'm recording as we're walking out the doors of a Marriott hotel, going into a bus, and we're about to attend an event. And this is what we were surrounded by. Mind you, there were snipers on the roof to protect us because there had been death threats and bomb threats, and the entire hotel was barricaded, and we had private security. The Philadelphia police, which were wonderful, they were all around, and Homeland Security. It was insane. This was insane. Could not believe it. This was in 2023. So the summer of 2023, and let's just to give you an idea.
Are you guys on the bus right now? Yes, we are. Are you headed out together? Well, we're like right here. Yes. Oh my gosh.
Doesn't that your doll, honey? Doesn't that your doll? You're good? Thank you. Stop smiling at me like I give a fuck about you. Some of y'all bitches have the capacity to wear an American flag on your body. Oh, God. Get on the bus, but you can't stand it. You're taking so long. Get out of here.
So that's there. Here's another video. Here's another.
Identified hate group, and that's who you're supporting tonight.
Philadelphia belongs to our children over there. Oh, hey, hey, ho, ho! These hoes for Hitler got to go. Hey, hey, ho, ho! These hoes for Hitler got to go. Hey, hey.
This is just a tiny example of what happened. There are so many more videos. I was part of a group. We were physically attacked. We couldn't even leave the hotel to go to get food. When we tried to get an Uber, our Uber was surrounded. They grabbed us. They spit on us. They yelled at us. One guy even called out, "Hey, you look like a bunch of American Girl dolls." And a group of friends, we gave ourselves the nickname American Girls, So it was a intense time, and this isn't the only, like, there are several school board meetings that maybe didn't look quite as bad at this, but I know in Wauwatosa, there was another meeting where someone grabbed me, where I had to have me and a group of Moms for Liberty members were surrounded by police in Madison. I know that I'm only one of 130,000 members, and there are so many stories where we have we're Daniel going into the lion den, and after you do it enough, guess what? You're going to survive. You got this. Not to say that I'm not afraid. There's always fear, but the thing is there's something more powerful than fear. It's the love for our children. There is nothing more powerful than the love we have for our children. And that gives us the courage to go up against woke, because woke is a fake religion to a fake God. It is all fake. Okay, it is the glitter family that they promise children cannot compare to the love and devotion of a real family. And we're going to fight for our children. We're going to fight for our country. And we are going to do all that is needed in a time such as this, because we were born for a time such as this. We are going to save America. And I'm just so grateful for all of my friends at Moms for Liberty and the leadership there. And so it's just been amazing. And many of us worked very hard to be sure that Trump one in 2024. And he did, and the changes that we're seeing in the Department of Education and the rollback and the elimination of DEI and the future, which is going to include a lot of complaints and lawsuits and efforts by the Trump administration to support those of us boots on the ground who are, have our own, like waving the flag, just saying, hey, in our school district, look what they're doing. In our state legislature, look what they're doing. They are defying your executive orders. They are proceeding with this woke agenda with wild abandon. And now it's time that we're going to do something about it. And there have to be consequences. And as we're seeing more and more, there will be. So I know that sometimes I was just on the phone with a chapter chair from Colorado late yesterday, and she's in good spirits now, but it's been rough. It's been a rough couple of weeks because of what's happening in Colorado, and that's going to be another thing that I talk about. So just keep praying for us moms, and also make sure that on top of your prayers that you're supporting groups like Moms for Liberty. You're joining chapters, you're participating as a member, and you're joining in the fight because we desperately need you. And that's it for all. I hear my phone ringing, and that means it's time for me to go pick up some kids from practice. But there'll be more, and I'm just super excited about what's happening with Moms for Liberty, and I hope you are too. And I hope you take the time to send a message of encouragement to Samantha Fett and thank her for all that she has done for Iowa and all that she has done for our country. Courage is contagious. She is a hero. She is, the famous Teddy Roosevelt, the man in the arena. She is the woman in the arena, and I salute her.